what did summer taste like in the 70s before the chicken obsession? It had amazing treats like cinnamon-baked apples and some oddly satisfying soups like corn chowder. So we said there's no way we're letting these foods get lost in time, so we want them back. The first is egg cream. When you get past the fact that there's no egg or cream in this beverage, you'll realize just how tasty this New York fountain beverage is. It's made by mixing cold milk, fizzy seltzer, and chocolate syrup in a tall glass. Let's just say that if you get it right, a glass of egg cream should have a foamy head that looks similar to blowing bubbles into chocolate milk with a straw. The drink is believed to have been created in the early 20th century, with its origins often credited to Louis Oster in Brooklyn, a Jewish candy store owner. As the story goes, it sold up to 3,000 glasses a day, but he died with his secret recipe. Imagine drinking this on a hot summer day. Now you understand why we should bring this back. It's such a sweet treat. Speaking of sweets, let's move on to our next forgotten summer food, beans and franks. This is the quick meal you want to fix for yourself on days you don't feel like cooking. Beans and franks combines baked beans with sliced hot dogs into a delicious meal. Historically, beans and franks became famous as a convenience food, and ads in the 1970s sold it as a quick and filling meal that was perfect for busy households. The canned beans provided a sweet, tangy base, while the hot dogs added a smoky touch. Do you know how amazing a meal has to be to have a day named after it? That is right. July 13th is the National Beans and Franks Day, although that is not the exact day its inventor, Frank Van Camp, decided to mix pork and beans in tomato sauce. To whip up a batch, you'll need a can of baked beans and several hot dogs. Simply slice the hot dogs into bite-sized pieces, mix them into the beans, and heat the mixture on the stove until everything is hot and the flavors meld together. I just know it'll taste so good, just like this corn chowder, the perfect evening food. Corn chowder was a hit in the 1970s. This creamy dish combines fresh corn, potatoes, onions, and either milk or cream. With all this good stuff in one plate, you just know it tasted really good, and we want it back. Corn chowder's roots can be traced back to New England, where it became a popular way to use up summer corn. It was the kind of meal you'll mostly find in Grandma's kitchen and was common in family dinners and community gatherings. Whether served as a starter or a main dish, corn chowder was satisfying. Historically, it was a staple in coastal communities where seafood variations were also popular. The dish is rich in vitamins and minerals, making it both delicious and nutritious. You see how great that looks? That's all the proof you need to make this popular again. Same with chicken pot pie. Chicken pot pie, the ultimate evening meal, warmed many hearts and bellies during the 1970s. This pie features a flaky crust filled with a rich mixture of chicken, vegetables, and creamy gravy. Chicken pot pie is prepared by cooking diced chicken with vegetables in a creamy broth, then baking it in a pastry-lined dish until golden brown. The pie has roots dating back to the early American settlers, but it made waves again in the 1970s as a family favorite. It was all over the ads, and KFC had theirs on everyone's face. Some of us loved the convenience of frozen versions, while homemade chicken pot pie was reserved for Sunday dinners. Remind me again why we stopped making these, and who says why scalloped potatoes were left in the past. This classic casserole is made with thinly sliced potatoes layered with a rich, velvety sauce made from milk, butter, and flour, often topped with a generous amount of shredded cheese. Scalloped potatoes have a long history, with variations of the dish appearing in American cookbooks as far back as the 19th century. By the 1970s, it had become a common meal at family gatherings, potlucks, and holiday feasts. The dish was often featured in advertisements and marketed as a one-skillet sensation. Just picture yourself scooping out a portion with the creamy, cheesy sauce and tender potatoes filling your mouth. That is a top-tier feeling, the same feeling I get when I eat Texas toast. This summer food is what you can call a slice of heaven. It became a summer barbecue essential in the 1970s, and you'll see why. Texas toast starts with extra thick slices of white bread, generously buttered on both sides and often sprinkled with garlic or cheese. Traditionally, the slices are grilled or broiled until golden and crispy on the outside, yet soft and fluffy on the inside. But wait a minute. How did Texas become the only state to own a toast? Apparently, its inventor, the manager of a pig stand location in Beaumont, Texas, ordered doubly thick bread to impress customers, but the hearty slices wouldn't fit in the toaster, so he buttered and toasted them right on the grill. Texas toast was a common sight at backyard barbecues, pairing perfectly with grilled meats and cold salads. Whether served with breakfast, as a sandwich base, or as a side to a hearty steak dinner, Texas toast never disappoints. Now let's toast to another forgotten favorite from the 1970s, the Welsh Rarebit. Welsh Rarebit is a British-inspired dish that starts with a cheese sauce made from sharp cheddar, beer, mustard, and a dash of Worcestershire sauce, all melted together until smooth. It dates back to 18th century Britain, where it was initially called Welsh Rarebit, even though it has nothing to do with rabbits. By the 1970s, it had become a cozy common meal in many American homes, often served for lunch or as a hearty snack. Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney even spotlighted Rarebit in their cookbook, which was made to accompany the Hulu series Welcome to Wrexham. It seems Welsh Rarebit is making a comeback, and I'm here for it, but I also want crescent rings on my dinner table again. Crescent rings are a little more fun than the classic crescent roll. These delicious rings are made by arranging crescent roll dough into a circular shape, filling it with a sweet mixture, and baking until golden brown. Popular fillings included cream cheese and fruit preserves, ham and cheese, or even pizza toppings. Crescent rings were a hit at potlucks, picnics, and family gatherings. The convenience of using pre-made dough made them a go-to dish for busy hosts and home cooks looking to impress. They were often featured in 1970s cookbooks and food sections of newspapers. Now, let's roll into our next tasty 1970s treat, the berry compote. This dish consists of fresh or frozen berries cooked down with a bit of sugar and sometimes a splash of lemon juice, creating a sweet, tangy sauce perfect for topping ice cream, pancakes, or yogurt. Some variations included a dash of vanilla or a hint of cinnamon for added depth of flavor. Families loved it for breakfast, dessert, or even as a snack, making the most of summer's berry bounty. The bright colors and luscious texture of berry compote made it a visual and taste sensation, perfect for impressing guests or enjoying with the family. Speaking of family food, cinnamon-baked apples were another family food we stopped making for some reason. This dessert dates back to the Great Depression, when everyone was into making low-cost meals. Some families added raisins or nuts to the filling for extra texture and flavor. The sight of bubbling golden apples fresh out of the oven was enough to make anyone's mouth water. This dessert was perfect for summer barbecues, picnics, or as a special after-dinner treat. They were not only affordable, but also nutritious, offering a good source of vitamins and fiber. The combination of apples and cinnamon was known to have antioxidant properties, making it a relatively healthy dessert option. You can't go wrong with apples, not even with root beer floats. Root beer floats are an oddly satisfying drink and summertime refresher. This classic treat is a combination of creamy vanilla ice cream and fizzy root beer. Root beer floats have been a favorite since the early 20th century, but they really soared in popularity during the 1970s. Frank J. Wisner, owner of Colorado's Cripple Creek Brewing, is credited with creating the first root beer float on August 19, 1893. Since then, the drink has been featured in advertisements, and an entire day has been dedicated to celebrating it. Every August 6, people gather up some root beer and ice cream and mix up the perfect root beer float, the combination of the cold, creamy ice cream with a refreshing experience. What do you say? We bring it back on this same flight with Tang pie? The name Tang should ring a bell, but if it doesn't, Tang is an iconic orange drink famously used by NASA on their trips to space. To prepare, mix Tang powder with sweetened condensed milk and whipped topping until smooth. Pour this creamy, orange-flavored filling into a graham cracker crust and chill until set. The result is a bright, tangy pie that's as refreshing as it is nostalgic. Tang pie was a hit during the 1970s, thanks to the popularity of Tang as a household staple. The pie's cheerful orange color and zesty flavor made it a standout at picnics. The recipe has been preserved through community cookbooks and heirloom recipe cards since the 1960s. Families loved its simple, no-bake recipe, which leaves a lasting impression on anyone who tried it. And then there was the hot dog salad. Those who have never tried these are missing out on something epic. Hot dog salad was an inventive twist on the classic barbecue. This dish features sliced hot dogs tossed with a mix of fresh vegetables like lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, and onions, all dressed in a tangy vinaigrette or creamy dressing. It emerged as a creative way to enjoy hot dogs beyond the traditional, making it a popular choice for those looking to jazz up their summer menus. The combination of hot dogs with crisp, fresh vegetables creates a tasty dish. It's one of those meals you prepare when you feel like experimenting with new stuff, and it never disappoints. The sweetness and saltiness of hot dogs make them a viable option for a salad. Now that we're talking about salads, Spam salads come to mind. Spam salad features chunks of Spam, the canned meat product that became a household name, mixed with a variety of fresh and pantry ingredients. To prepare it, dice Spam into bite-sized pieces and combine with chopped celery, pickles, hard-boiled eggs, and a creamy mayo-based dressing. Mix everything until well-coated and chill before serving for the best flavor. Spam salad became popular for being so easy to prepare. Who remembers the slogan, "Sizzle pork and Spam salad was a staple at picnics and potlucks, where it stood out for its unique combination. Some versions included peas or macaroni, making it even yummier. The salty Spam paired with the crunchy vegetables and creamy dressing created a divine dinner experience. It was not only delicious, but also an economical choice for middle-class families. This dish was a true representation of the 1970s trend of convenience foods. Would you love to try this again? I would. Another summer food I'd do anything to bring back is Popsicles. Popsicles brought joy to kids and adults alike in the 1970s. These colorful, icy treats came in a variety of fruity flavors like cherry, orange, grape, and lime. Making homemade popsicles was a fun and easy project. Just mix fruit juice or flavored drink mixed with water, pour into molds, and freeze until solid. Popsicles have a history dating back to the early 20th century, when an 11-year-old boy accidentally invented them. By the 1970s, they were a popular sweet treat in summer afternoons, often sold from neighborhood ice cream trucks or stocked in family freezers. I still remember the slogan, "If it's a popsicle, it's possible." Some families even got creative, adding chunks of fruit or yogurt to their popsicle mixtures. The simple pleasure of enjoying a popsicle on a hot day with sticky fingers and colorful tongues is a fond memory for many. We should make them one of these days. What do you think? And maybe a zucchini bread later. Comment "Hi" if you want my recipe. Just kidding, but zucchini bread is a nice treat that brought a delicious twist to summer baking in the 1970s. This quick bread uses grated zucchini, which adds moisture and a subtle flavor to the loaf. To make it, you mix flour, sugar, grated zucchini, eggs, oil, and a hint of cinnamon and nutmeg. Once combined, pour the batter into a loaf pan and bake until golden brown and a toothpick inserted comes out clean. Zucchini bread came to life during World War II when families were encouraged to plant their food. It became popular in the 1970s and was a great way to use up the abundant summer zucchini harvest and turn a humble vegetable into a delicious dessert. It was so easy to make, so I'm never going to understand why we stopped making it, though. Many families enjoyed it with a smear of butter, and some even added nuts or raisins for extra texture and flavor. Have you ever wondered what salads looked like in the 70s? Well, they had stuff like Watergate Salad. This pistachio-flavored treat is made with instant pistachio pudding mix, crushed pineapple, mini marshmallows, and whipped topping to create a sweet and tangy concoction. Its intriguing name is said to have originated around the time of the Watergate scandal, adding a touch of humor and mystery to its popularity. Some people say it was named after the Watergate Hotel, while others believe it was a playful nod to the political scandal. Regardless of its origins, Watergate salad was popular in family gatherings and summer picnics, often served in a large bowl with a cherry on top for a bit of extra flair. It is the kind of dessert that pisses off nutritionists, but if it makes you happy, make a plate, we won't judge. And who knows, I just might join you with my tapioca pudding. Who else misses how this would melt in their mouths? Tapioca pudding is made from tapioca pearls, milk, sugar, and eggs, creating a delightful texture and comforting flavor. It has a long history, with its origins traced back to South America in the kitchen of a woman named Susan Stavers. By the 1970s, it was often served as a dessert. It's funny to see people now refer to it as old people's food, but hey, old people's food is delicious, so why not bring it back? We'd be happy to eat old people's food again, just like I'd eat up a potato pancake right now. Potato pancakes, also known as latkes, were made from grated potatoes mixed with eggs, onions, and a bit of flour. These golden brown treats were often enjoyed as a side dish or even a main course. They have their origins in Eastern European cuisine, particularly among Jewish communities, and became widely popular in America. Some variations included adding grated carrots or zucchini for extra flavor and nutrition. Don't you just love everything about this meal? We're definitely bringing it back. Now, let's see what other treasures we lost in time. Here's the mock turtle soup. Ironically, there were no turtles in this soup, but the inventors were trying to mimic turtle meat, which they could no longer eat because turtles were endangered. Fun fact, in the 18th century, 15,000 turtles were shipped to England from the West Indies every year just for turtle soup. So, when this recipe came about, all the remaining turtles took a sigh of relief. By the 1970s, it had become a nostalgic dish in American households, often appearing in family recipes. Calf head took the place of turtle meat. This is simmered with vegetables like carrots, celery, and onions, along with spices and herbs to create a hearty broth. Mock turtle soup is thickened with flour and often finished with a splash of sherry for depth of flavor. Some versions even included hard-boiled eggs or organ meats for added authenticity. It's definitely something we should bring back. I'm sure it tastes delicious. What other 70s food would you love to see on our channel? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe on this channel for more nostalgia trips.